Hi everybody and welcome to the last session of Grow into March. So over the past few weeks we've been looking at goal setting and how to set small goals using this particular model. So we're on W, which is will, which is short for what will you do. So the last few weeks we've kind of been building up to the goal. We looked at the value of the goal to help you stay committed to that goal. We explored the reality of achieving that goal. And then if the reality it just seemed too big, we went back, we looked at the goal again, and we kind of whittled it down a bit to make it achievable. And last week we talked about obstacles that may get in the way of achieving the goal. And yesterday we looked at support, which is a huge part of what will you do, because sometimes goals are easier and more manageable if we have people to support us through achieving the goal. So you may have started off on your goal already, which was fine. And come week 4, you may have, hit upon one or two obstacles that have got in the way. So if you have started on your goal setting journey, just kind of taking a moment now to check in with, after all that's happened, how committed are you now than you were before 4 weeks ago? And then some of you have waited till week 4 to set the goal, and you've kind of been using this as a template for the goal setting. And now that it's become a reality that you're going to, go forward to achieve this goal, how committed are you? So maybe if you think of it as like a sliding scale, 1 to 10, how committed are you? Are you 1, which is not very committed? Are you 10, super committed? So kind of taking a moment now to pause and think, okay, where am I on the scale? And if you are under 5, I would usually go back again. Because if you're under 5 and you're not too committed, there might be something you'll need to do to get committed again. So that could be support, asking someone for support. It could be looking at the goal and thinking, is this the right time for the goal? Or it could be breaking the goal down again. So maybe you set yourself something a little bit too tedious. I know a lot of people, getting fit is a goal. And maybe you set yourself a goal of working out 4 times a week. And now you're kind of looking at it and you're not very committed. It seems too overwhelming. But how would it be to run around the block once this week? So kind of looking at the goal and kind of assessing, okay, what do I need to do now to push my commitment up? And there's lots of ways you can do that. Could be making the goal, like I said, making the goal smaller, asking for support, or doing a new goal, something that is manageable. So if you have to relook at your goal again, press pause and then come back to this. But for those of you who are committed, or you know how to get your commitment up, stick with me. So you know what the goal is, you know what you want to do. What are the actions you need to take to make that happen? So what are the things I will catch on a camera? So if it is the goal of eating more healthily, how could I see that on camera? I could see you going to the shop and maybe getting dark chocolate as opposed to white chocolate. It could be buying more fruit and veg. I'd see you putting it in the smoothie maker. It could be me seeing you eating a healthier lunch as opposed to ordering takeaway. So what needs to happen? And usually I say to somebody 1 or 2 actions if you can a week. And just to make it as simple as possible, because the more you build your self-efficacy, the more you execute small behaviors and you make it manageable, Doesn't need to be too simple. Remember, it has to be somewhere up here. Once it's somewhat manageable and it's a bit challenging for you, that self-efficacy will raise, and your confidence will build, and then you'll keep wanting to do it. And another thing to know when you're starting out is, and this is where a lot of people fall down, you have to go there in the action first. A lot of people wait until they feel good to do new things. So someone who's maybe feeling quite low will be, yeah, well, when I'm not feeling low, I'll call my friend then. Or, somebody who's working out, oh yeah, when I'm in the mood to work out, I'll work out. Because actually, if we wait for our emotions to show up in the right place, it'll never happen. Actually, the only way you get motivated is through doing. So if you can just push through that, use those mindfulness skills that we learned in week 2, and just kind of ground yourself. Do something small, but keep doing a little a lot. If it is, the getting more active, walk around the block a couple of times a week. So just kind of making sure that that, it's only once you start doing the behavior that the emotions show up. And even with last week when I was discussing bringing the clothes back to the store, years ago I wouldn't have returned things because I would be too nervous to do so, or I would feel like I was being mean, or, I would kind of stop myself. And, the first few times I had to bring back clothes, I was terrified to do it. And actually afterwards I felt really horrible. I felt like guilty afterwards. But it was only the 3rd or 4th time that I kind of brought things back that then I started to feel good about myself, because actually I knew logically, like my consumer rights, so I knew I was doing the right thing. When we're starting off with new behaviors, a lot of resistance can show up, but it's just about kind of gently acknowledging that resistance and, putting a plan in place to push through. And we don't always push through, but keep trying and keep going until you get it. You will get it. You may just not get it the first or second week. And, it's those who just keep trying, keep picking away at it that do reach their goals. None of us kind of sit down, state out loads of actions and then just go for it. Most of us, meet a lot of resistance when we're trying to change. So, putting the actions in place, you're the expert on you, so you know how much that will be. I don't really like to tell people what to do or how often to do it. Either a little, a lot, or whatever you feel will help you achieve it long term. That's the best solution. And then once you have your actions in place, I'm going to put a worksheet with this. Once you fill out the worksheet, also know how you can measure your success. So how will you know when you've been successful? And I think it's really important to measure it, because if you don't keep looking at where you are in the goal, you're not going to increase that self-efficacy for yourself. You're not going to feel more confident or better about yourself if you don't measure your success. So what would that look like? So if it is that goal of eating healthily, it could be having salads 3 times a week. So this has to be something you can tick off in a list. So I can tick that box. So write that down on the sheet as well. How will I know I've been successful? Okay. And also, you won't always hit everything. Maybe you'll eat 1 salad during your lunch in a week. That's good. That's better. As long as you're better than you are yesterday, that's progress. Or even trying is progress. Not trying at all versus trying and failing. Like, trying is the key here. So have that wrote down, how you measure your success. But most importantly, and I cannot stress this enough, how will you reward yourself? So you need to reward yourself when you're doing anything new. It's kind of like, say you're training a dog to sit. What do you give the dog when it sits? You give it a treat. And actually humans, we were once animals too. And actually we love rewards. And actually the more you reward yourself, the brain loves that. So the brain will be like, ooh, I like that. And your body and your brain will want to do more of the behavior. So especially when you're starting out, make sure you have a little treat. So if it is the 3 salads a week, and even if you have 1 salad, grand, treat yourself. Or even if you try and you fail, treat yourself. So make sure you have something there that you like. It could be having a nice long bath. It could be getting yourself, picking flowers from the garden, putting them in your vase. Something kind of nourishing you can do for yourself. So make sure you have those rewards in place. That's very important. And a lot of the time people kind of overlook that, or they get a little confused, like, oh, well, I should be doing this. Why should I reward myself? But no, rewards are a great way to reinforce the behavior. You won't always need rewards, but starting off. But I do think, you should always treat yourself to something, even no matter how big or small. And even treating yourself could be like giving yourself a pat on the back. Well done. So make sure you reward yourself and check out the worksheet below. I can only put the worksheet on Facebook, so if you want to locate that, just check out our Facebook page. And it was lovely doing this video series, and I wish you all the best of luck on your goals. Take care.